But the other thing though is that animation detail in the levels while you're playing the game. For some reason, Sonic spines don't have that sort of flies behind you feeling.
The fuck did this come from?
You're talking about basically secondary animations. And all that.
And the really obvious one, which was pointed out before the game even came out, is when Sonic and the Avatar are doing their team-up thing, and they're doing the grapple grind thing around those really thin platforms and all. Sonic doesn't animate it.
Sonic's model just frozen.
Yeah. It's like you're dragging a Sonic-shaped statue along. It's like you just stole the first edition of the Sonic Adventure 3 collector's statue, and you're making off with it like some kind of goddamn burglar.
Guys, it doesn't matter if the animation's is bad, because finally the story's serious again. And that's what I want in a Sonic game.
Can I bitch about two things specifically with this boss fight? First off,
I already know which one you're going to talk about first.
Well, okay. First off, why the hell does Zavok, however the series wants to pronounce it now, why does he get a boss fight and not Shadow or Chaos? First off, that's weird. Second off, the UI in this game is just freaking terrible. Like, I'm not the only one who wants to grab that freaking health bar and drag it up like 10 feet, right? And have it be in line with the rest of the UI. Not to mention that the fact that the rings counter needs to, like, block half the screen up there is ugly and gross, and I hate it. But, it's...
Also, contrary to every normal game design, you don't want to jump when he slams the ground, because you can't hit him that way.
I know. You have to stay on the ground in order for him to... That goes against every other boss fight with this mechanic. And that's a lot of them, for the record, in, like, every video game ever.
You also don't want to be too close to the edge after you do the last homing attack, because Sonic goes back a set distance.
Yeah, that happened to me.
And falls off the edge, which did happen to me, first playthrough.
I will say, though, two very small things, both in this boss fight and the preceding cutscene. I do kind of like that they remixed music from Lost World. Like, this is...
I do have some... not a lot, but some affection to this remake of the Deadly Six battle.
One small thing. I think somebody who worked on this game hated the character of Zavok, because he's the only character in the history of the...
one I dislike the least. Alright? It's either that or the frickin' Shadow the Hedgehog remix in episode Shadow.
Those are great. The Shadow remixes are great.
Hello, Sonic Lost World. How are you today?
I'm so sorry I made fun of you last year. 4 years ago.
It's Clement's favorite level.
This is the only boss fight that's unique, and they reuse Lost World's gameplay for it.
Unique in what sense? Are you just talking about like the background elements?
Tutorial round for the final boss.
This is the longest fucking snake in human history.
You see, I don't know how they managed to make the levels feel so goddamn short and have the boss fights go on for frickin' ever. Because each boss fight in this game is longer than most of the standard levels are. Especially if you hit any of... Well, if you manage to run into the blocks...
Eggman, like classic Sonic against Eggman/Egg the Dragoon is pretty short and shitty.
Yeah, but that's the only classic Sonic boss as well, though, Gary.
The only thing that really irks me about the chase bosses is, correct me if I'm wrong, but you can't go into a homing attack from a boost. Like, you have to actively stop boosting when you're close, and then you're able to do the homing attack.
Definitely.
When it was the complete opposite in the other games, so you can do that willy-nilly, no problem.
Not to mention that the game just won't let you homing attack him if you're close enough. You have to wait until the certain part of his cycle in order to homing attack. Whereas from what I remember of most of the other runner bosses, at the very least, like the Sonic and Shadow fight in SA2, as long as you were close enough to him, you could try to attack. In this, you have to wait for him to finish his cycle.
That's exactly what I was talking about right there. Ryan was clearly close enough, but the reticle didn't appear until he went out of boost. Yeah.
Yeah, with Metal Sonic and Infinite later, you have to wait until they're ready to be homing attacked, but in Sonic Unleashed and stuff, anytime you wanted to boost into the Egg Stingray or whatever the hell they were called, you just boost into them and that was it. But
yeah, the boost was another form of attack, and this one it's strictly just a means of catching up.
Devil Ray, because Eggman was feeling edgy.
Top dog. You were just about to be able to hit him, but nope, the snake had the loop, and you lost that chance. Even though it looked like there was more snake to jump on, so the game just kind of cuts away. like they have to explain why you can run on this snake infinitely? Like, no, dude, we don't care. Just let me hit it.
Infinitely? I see what you did there. I fucking hate you.
Also, Infinite cannot die on the path. He has to die in the transition.
Yes, which is stupid, by the way. Yes, I have played Sonic 06.
You know, it's really sad because Infinite, I hated his design at first. He could have been interesting. Also, he has an infinite side on his souls.
Guys, I just noticed that. Why the fuck is his own logo on his shoes for?
Because he's the most advanced character in the game, dude.
Okay.
So, do we want to go into what our initial thoughts on who?
His established backstory is that he's apparently going after Eggman, and then he just sides with him because he gives him a Phantom Ruby. I don't know.
Well, apparently...
just speaking of the Phantom Ruby, though, did Eggman create it, or did he find it in this world?
Apparently, the Jackal guy, whatever his name was, is a mercenary.
Head of Team Jackal.
He's a mercenary, and he worked for Eggman at the time that Shadow beat him.
We'll get to that.
The
Phantom Ruby is the same from Mania. When it went through the portal along with Sonic, the Phantom Ruby got to the world first before Sonic did. Apparently there was a bit of a time discrepancy between the Phantom Ruby. It would have been nice if the game to explain that. Yeah, I agree. But it's the same Phantom Ruby from Mania. Gotcha.
Can we talk
with
about...
that, Eggman was able to make all those prototypes.
Can we talk about how... Oh, no, that makes no sense. You don't get the original and then make prototypes based on that. But...
Well, I don't understand. It's still pretty fucking flimsy altogether.
They talk like he created the Phantom Ruby.
Yeah, that's why I'm confused. It sounds they act like he made it.
You've got a lot of nerve for a pint-sized Sonic from another dimension.
Time and space!
My understanding of it was he created the Phantom Ruby and the Phantom Ruby prototypes, and one of the prototypes drifted off into Classic Sonic's dimension, and it was that prototype that started Mania. But even that doesn't make any goddamn sense, because apparently the Phantom Ruby prototypes can only be activated by the one person who
has the most teamwork.
So what's the deal with the hard-boiled heavies?
Guys, I love the fucking thing when Tails just pops up. You're lying. His face is so fucking funny.
You're full of shit.
You're lying. This might be one of the worst bosses in 3D Sonic history. This boss is fucking horrible.
Yeah, it's whatever.
I don't know, man. It's kind of hard to beat Chaos 4.
I like Chaos 4.
You're wrong, Gareth. I'm sorry.
Ted. Check the comments for the Mania OP, and then you see who's wrong.
It's just an extended tutorial for the Classic Sonic segment in the final boss.
Wait.
Hey, my character has an even better accessory: Sonic boom shoes.
They're in this game. Yep.
You know,
I love how they put in the soap shoes as for.
Yeah, the soap shoes did honestly make me a little bit happy to see.
I will say, guys,
you know, seeing as SA2 was my first introduction to Sonic, it's a little bit weird seeing him without them. To me, even though he's only had the soap shoes for one game. But this boss fight sucks. This is the boss fights in this game are the worst thing about it, in my opinion.
How did you let yourself get hit there? Jesus Christ!
Here we go again.
No, this should take 20 seconds to beat.
He can't reach him with the flamethrower.
I can't tilt my wrist up slightly.
Yeah.
Curse you, Mega Man.
What I'm saying is, like, you shouldn't have let him hit you when you died. Why are you homing it? Stay on the ground. Let him stop on the floor, and then just fire the flamethrower into his face until he dies.
Lewis is definitely doing the next new Sonic game.
Yeah, because
I already recorded this boss on Twitter. It was a joke.
Jokes are funny.
You're doing all the wrong things in this fight. You have the weapon.
He can't. He's been trying. Infinite's not getting in range for him to hit. Like,
no, you stay on the ground, you wait for him to do the stupid dive attack.
He hasn't done it yet.
He stops, he's done it 3 times. He stops on the ground.
Ow.
Oh, and then you go and get hit by,
Sorry, you know what? No. It's not enough for you to record the next game. It's going to be live. That way you can't edit out your fuck-ups. Because holy shit.
You know, the Avatar with his weapons would have been a little bit more... What would have made the Avatar, I think, more interesting? Because I do think it's the part of this game that has the most potential, is just really simple shit. Like, for example, maybe having the different clothing give you different stats, or being able to switch between 2 or 3 weapons at the same in the stage with the triggers or whatever. Or maybe even just moving the attack button from like ZR to the Y button, where it would be more comfortable and make more sense. But
something I would have liked with the Avatar, because he's doing so much swinging around with the wire.
Oh yeah,
I would have
that
loved
too.
to swing.
That was always a rumor. Yeah.
This Metal Sonic fight's the same exact fight as Infinite.
It's the same fight from Rise of Lyric.
I was gonna say this is very Rise of Lyric too.
Yeah, it's the you fight
Why
the
is
same
he
boss
joined
like
here
3
though?
times.
I don't get that. Like Zavik and
Virtual
Shadow
reality.
changed. Fuck you, Ted.
Because the Phantom Ruby does whatever the fuck it wants.
There we go.
Were you deliberately avoiding all of those red rings?
Oh, Jesus.
No. Can you not make this your commentary 99%? Fuck the Phantom Ruby.
Guys, I said this on Twitter. Next year at Too Many Games, the Brain Scratch panel just has to be an award ceremony for giving Lewis the worst backseat gamer of all time award.
No way. We will take out John. We take out the backseat of Johnny's car and present it to Lewis.
I think the worst part of this boss fight, though, is that it just winds up feeling like a lesser version of the Silver the Hedgehog.
I brought that up when I was live streaming the game. It's the silver boss, but worse. God.
And when we refight Infinite, this is the same exact boss fight.
Yes, it is.
Although, guys, I will say though, I am glad that Sega kind of remembers the American version of Sonic CD. I am glad that we didn't get another Star Speedway remix for this music track.
Well, I mean, that was also probably because we already got a Star Speedway remix in Mania earlier.
True, yeah.
Well, not even that. Generations did that.
It did, Johnny, but the footage, you had to unlock that track. You had to fucking unlock it.
But it was still there, that's my point.
So did
Hey Ted, fist bump.
Sonic 4 did a Stardust Speedway remix.
Well, yeah, but the one in full was the Japanese version. I'm talking specifically about the American one.
Hooray, we beat Metal Sonic again.
The ending of this is just the end of the Shadow fight in Generations, where you get this weird boost for no reason, and then just ram someone up the arse. I love Sonic games.
The double boost is such a non-mechanic. It does nothing.
Anything can happen. It's hard to care what